Here we are again. It is Drive Safe with me, Benjamin Akakpo. We're back at TopTech Transport and Logistics with Mr. Cecil Garbrah. Right before we get into today's topic, and let me just give you a teaser. If you find yourself in places like Kumasi, Accra, Takoradi, Tamale, other places, you would realize that there's a lot of traffic. We're gradually becoming like the Sao Paulos or maybe the Tokyos. The question is, why? There's something we're not getting right. But right before we get into that, so you think you know, but do you know? Here's today's question. Right, so at the tail end of today's segment, as always, you'll get to find out what the answer to the question is. But let me say hello once more to Cecil Garbrah, ever patient Cecil Garbrah. It said that you should have the patience of an ox or maybe a Buddhist fly fisherman. So thank you for sticking around, staying with us.
Hi, Ben.
Great.
Wow.
Now, traffic, no one likes it. In Kumasi, they call it go-slow. We all face it, and especially around this time, it gets worse. What are we getting wrong as a country when it comes to managing the traffic situation?
Thank you, Ben. We've had it all wrong right from the beginning because our bus rapid transit system never worked. And to be precise, what we know is Ayalolo. Why Ayalolo? If you look at countries that you've mentioned, Sao Paulo, you look at
Brazil.
Yes, Brazil. Is a bus rapid transit system that has saved everybody. Because in Ghana, everybody wants to buy a car. Everybody wants to feel comfortable, but we still use the same roads. The roads that we have are still the same. We don't have access roads. Okay? Accra is choked, Kumasi is choked. Believe me that I spent 3 hours driving from South La to Adenta, 4:30 to 7:30, going to give a talk, and then, it was so bad.
When
3 hours. This was just on Monday, 3 days ago. Right, that should tell you that our transport system is failed because of one issue, which is the BRT. And when we talk about BRT, we are talking about having a segregated road. And having a segregated road is simply if you have 1, 2, 3 lanes, the first lane is a no-go lane. No other vehicle can use it except these long buses that can carry between 70 and 90 people in the bus with a lot of stops. So whilst you are in traffic in the dual carriage road, the bus driving on the segregated road comes to pass, and then because, it's a rapid system. It has its own
dedicated road. So
dedicated
there's no
road.
traffic, there's no, it goes and comes. And it also means you can be on time.
Precisely. Segregated and dedicated roads, that let's put them together. We don't have them here. Why don't we have them here? We have a system failure where people who manage Accra have sold lands. You go to talk to even the groundnut seller, he'll give you a permit to tell you that, yes, I am paying for this. And then he's not moving. The Lotto kiosk, people are building in natural ways that Kwame Nkrumah reserved for this purpose. I'll give you a nice example, which is the Ring Road. The Ring Road, you have the Central Reserve. And those Central Reserves was planned so well for buses, for trams, for the future. So it means that if our BRT system is working, they could have run in the middle where you have an underground bus station, which means that you will not cross the Ring Road. You go underground, you pop up, and straight you sit in your bus and go. So we have failed. We bring in these very expensive buses and we can't manage them. They are ordinary trotros, and then they run everywhere. So why do I have to patronize the BRT system? Everybody wants to purchase a car, but if the BRT system is working, then we'll park our vehicles and then time will work. When I was a little boy living in South La to the Teshinungwa Estate, bus 17A will come to the bus stop at exactly 3 p.m. By 3:15, there was no traffic. It will be at Teshinungwa. I'll go and visit my uncle. 4:30, it is right at another bus stop waiting. So it was working. So why couldn't we continue? Now everybody wants to own a car, which is nobody's fault. It's because of the system failure that we do not have the BRT working. We have 2 points at the moment, only 2.9 million vehicles in the whole Ghana, but yet
we have this much traffic.
Yes, and we have this traffic. So what else must be done is just simple, that we need to break into people's, houses, those who have built by the roadside and so on, and then have a segregated road. We need to do it fast, because the situation is becoming chaotic.
But isn't it too late to do that? I mean, looking at the way structures are pretty close to our roads and all of that, if we had to do that, count the cost as well to government in terms of compensating people and all of that. Is it practical? Is it a practical solution?
I think it is practical, because the situation will be worse. If you go back to look at what I said on your stations 10 years ago, I said Accra will come to a standstill very, very soon because of traffic. We are getting closer, and people will be depressed. Already people are depressed, right? You are leaving Denta, coming to work in Accra, and you are spending 3 hours in traffic. Productivity level will be low. And of course, by 3:30 you'll be agitating for you to leave quickly to the house. You spend another 3-4 hours, you get home, you cannot take supper. You take supper, you go and sleep, and what else? Aluta continua. It's a big issue. So the real thing that needs to be done right now is that let's, stop it there and work towards it. Because if we continue to bring in vehicles, air pollution will continue. People who drive will continue to have that stress level moving so high. You go to the office, you cannot do anything. You are thinking about your son, your daughter that you need to pick from school. And a lot more will happen. So the productivity levels that we are thinking that it should rise will rather sink in this country.
Well, I'll tell you what, the traffic nowadays is maddening. And sometimes a journey that can take you 10 minutes takes you quadruple that time, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And some of the traffic, you sit in it and you must just calm yourself down. Because, and that's where I see the depression and other things coming. So, well, we have part of the solution to it. How do we, I think I should say, as a people, get rid of all the traffic? It begins with government in terms of some of the things that can be put in place. But it also behoves you and me. It behoves us to do the right things, and if we can afford it, sometimes, one thing that I find interesting, Cecil, you go to other jurisdictions and you would see, I've been in a country where you see a naval captain, medical doctors and all of that riding the bus. But here, hey, me I be doctor, you want me to go do it. And that is, I think a mindset change would also be, I don't know. The generation coming should have a bit of a mindset change, because we are all too. I think it's because it's a status symbol to drive a car.
Yeah,
that's part of it.
It's really true. And then you and I would travel, and then you would buy the most expensive vehicle. Look, they haven't even seen you, because nobody will look at you. But we have this prestige that, hey, you need to buy the biggest V8 for people to say that, oh yes, that's Ben driving in the V8, and that is our problem here. The BRT system, if it is working, will take over all this. And then have you realized that on the motorway, I think I'm asking you to go and take footages. Those living around Ajay Kojo, or what do we call it, right? They are driving on the left side of the motorway in the evenings, going home, because they cannot cross through Ashama. This is to do with the vehicle population, which is on the increase. I'll say about 5 to 8% increase. Still, we have the same old roads that we are using. We do not have a lot of access roads. I'll give the government a plus, they are tiring roads and so on, but we need access roads.
Right.
We need less vehicles, more buses to use segregated road, and that will be the solution. You and I will patronize that BRT system. But for now, the BRT is just like a common trotro. They are still in traffic, wasting a lot of fuel. wasting a lot of time, and it is a complete failure.
It is a complete failure. One last thing that I would say, of course, if these systems were working, sometimes you wouldn't be tempted to use your car because driving itself is tiring. So if you can sit in a vehicle, be conveyed from point A to point B at the right time, who wouldn't want that? From time to time, we would do that and save ourselves money and all the depression. Well, this is where we wrap today's Drive Safe segment. We've been talking about the traffic situation, the causes, and how we can emerge from them. I'm sure you've learned a thing or two. But right before we go, here is the answer to today's quiz question. So you think you know. Did you get the answer correct? And that is the answer in case you didn't know. My name is Ben.